Hi everyone, my name's Ben, and today we're going to brew some coffee. We're going to be brewing a coffee from Burundi called Mpemba. It's been one of our favorite coffees for many, many years now. We've been purchasing from this group for almost 8 years. Actually, 2020 will be our 8th year purchasing, and I'm gonna brew it. I've got some freshly ground Mpemba right here, so I'm gonna brew it, tell you about it, and then we're gonna talk about how it tastes. So, Burundi is a country in Central Africa. It's pretty small. It's about the size of Massachusetts, and it's right south of another relatively small country. This is the size of Massachusetts, which is Rwanda. To the east is Tanzania. To the west is the Democratic Republic of Congo, both of which are also well-known coffee-producing countries. And this particular coffee from Mpemba is from an area called Kayanza, which is one of the 18 provinces in Burundi. It's in the northern part of the country. Kayanza city is actually just about 15 miles from the Rwandan border, so it's really close by. The name of this cooperative is Kazoza Inikawa, which translates to "the future is the coffee," which, I mean, come on, that's just too much fun. What a great name for a coffee cooperative. The cooperative structure is an important thing in coffee, especially for smallholder coffee producers. And a smallholder is just someone that owns a relatively small amount of land. In the coffee world, we talk about the size of coffee farms, generally in terms of hectares. Hectares is a unit of measure that we don't really use much here in the States. But basically imagine a square that is 100 meters by 100 meters, and that's 1 hectare. It's not a huge area of land. And for Kazoza Inikawa, the members of this cooperative generally only have about 1 to 2 hectares of land. So enough to grow like 100 coffee trees or so, which is not a lot. So having a cooperative structure where they can kind of pool their coffee together, share resources is really helpful. What's really impressive too about this cooperative is the quality of the coffee they put out is really high, and they do it with not a lot of resources. They're just that committed to making a really high quality product and doing the best they can do, and it really shows up in the coffee. For those of you that are into varieties and altitude, the altitude of this coffee averages probably around 1,700, 1,800 meters above sea level. The varieties are Bourbon, Umbrizi, which I'm probably pronouncing incorrectly, and then Jackson. Umbrizi is like a Typica descendant, and then Jackson is just another type of Bourbon. It's a little bit different from the old, traditional old variety of Bourbon. All right, so we're gonna let this drain out for a minute, and as soon as it's done, we'll taste it. Let's see what we have for the notes on the bag. Clementine, caramel, and tea-like. Tea-like is actually one of my favorite notes, one of my favorite qualities in a coffee, which is a weird thing to say about a coffee, having it be tea-like, but for me, I'm into it. All right, so my coffee is done brewing. Let's see how we did. I actually feel, for talking and brewing at the same time, I actually feel like I probably did pretty good on this brew, but we're gonna find out. I'm gonna put a tiny bit in because it's still hot. Let it cool a little bit faster. It smells like dried fruit or raisin or something. It's nice. Ooh, that is nice. I need a little bit more. Man, tea-like is such an excellent descriptor. It's definitely kind of a thinner body. It's still juicy. I wouldn't say that it's like, it doesn't taste weak or whatever, but if we're thinking about like percentages of milk, the texture of whole milk is like, it's kind of coat your palate a little bit more, whereas skim milk is a little bit thinner because there's not as much fat in it. It's not as coating, it's kind of more watery. This coffee kind of is more like, I maybe put it like in the 2% to 1% of milk spectrum. It's definitely kind of thinner, not as coating, but still a really nice body. Really nice acidity, pretty significant. It reminds me of like a grapefruit acidity. So not like super acidic like a lemon, and not super acidic like an orange as far as the range of citrus fruits go, I'd put this kind of right in the middle somewhere around a grapefruit. And actually I almost get like a little bit of like a flavor of ruby red grapefruit too. Yeah, definitely get a little bit of that dried fruit flavor as well. It almost reminds me of like a fruit leather. It's really nice. It's a weird contrast with the body because like it's got really nice kind of dense flavors that are, you know, nice and prominent, but the body isn't super intense. So there's like a nice balance kind of going on with everything, which is really quite nice. Nice and sweet too. I think caramel's a great way to describe the sweetness of this coffee. And yeah, this is really tasty. A nice, easy to drink coffee that has, you know, not a super intense body, but also has some really nice kind of like, you know, citrus and dried fruit flavors that I am enjoying quite a bit. I'm really excited this coffee is back on our menu for the 8th year in a row, and I hope you guys enjoy it as well, and we'll see you next time. Thanks for watching.